All right, I'll call the regular meeting of the Historic Landmark Commission to order and ask for a roll call, please.
Chairman LaBiche,
Here?
Commissioner Avery, Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner Berube,
Here.
Commissioner Crawford, Commissioner Goodness,
Here.
Commissioner Javid, Commissioner Macon,
Here.
Commissioner Provo,
Here.
Commissioner Segee, Commissioner Templeton.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. First order of business is approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Everyone was sent those a couple of weeks ago. I'd ask for now any corrections or a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes of November 14th.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, Commissioner Macon, second by Commissioner Bell. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, the minutes will be approved. Our first file is PZ 2022-466. It is homeowner Gustavo Garcia requests to construct a greenhouse in the rear yard of his property located at 2335 North Street. Structure will be 20 feet by 20 feet, constructed with cedar wood, plastic sheeting, and a traditional greenhouse design. Will have a pitch roof, match a craftsman style roof pitch and main home, and feature a double swinging door for access. Structure will be located in the rear yard but partially visible from the street. We'll ask for staff report, please.
Good afternoon. Homeowner Gustavo Garcia requests to construct the greenhouse that'll be located in the rear yard of 2335 North Street. It will be 20 by 20, constructed with wood, plastic sheeting, and it'll be in a traditional greenhouse design. The pitched roof will match the craftsman style roof pitch that's to the main home, and it will have a double swing door for access. Staff recommends approval of the request with the following conditions. Number one, the greenhouse shall be in conformance with section 28.03.024 district area and height regulations of our city's ordinances. Number two, all appropriate permits must be obtained through Building Codes Department. This house is also listed in spare. This is the subject property. And then this is the side where the greenhouse will be visible. This is an elevation drawing. So on this side, this will be where the double swing door is. This is the roof pitch here. Mostly it will be this side that is visible from the street right of way. And we do have the applicants present.
All right, any questions for staff? All right, Mr. Garcia, are you here? If you would, come forward and just state your name and address for our record. Come all the way up here to the podium.
Okay, my name is Gustavo Garcia, 2335 North Street.
All right. Mr. Garcia, would you like to give us an explanation of what you're doing and why you're doing it?
Oh, pues dile que año con año pues se mueren las plantas.
Each year we have to move our plants around in the winter, so he figured it'd be easier to just have a greenhouse. That way we have somewhere to keep it.
Okay. This is not a commercial operation where you're growing plants and selling them, is it?
No.
Okay. This is for your personal use.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Garcia. We appreciate it. All right, I'll open it up for discussion or motion.
I make a motion that we approve file PZ 2022-466 with the two conditions.
I second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, please, all those approved, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. It is approved. Thank you. Also, Mr. Garcia, it's not necessary for you to stay for the whole meeting. You're welcome to go. All right, our next file is PZ 2022-480. Staff report.
Danica Moreno is seeking permission to remove a bay window from the house located at 2480 Evelyn Avenue. The window was removed and replaced with a smaller window without the benefit of a certificate of appropriateness or building permits. Originally, the bay window protruded from the front of the house and was replaced with one 36 by 30 window in size. The new window is 6/6 panes in appearance. This home is categorized as a minimal traditional house. Examples of this style of home are located in a Field Guide to American Houses, pages 479. The request to have 6/6 pane windows seems appropriate for a home of this era. Staff recommends approval of this request with the following conditions. Number 1, shall install window, screen, and shutters to match the existing front windows. Number 2, shall install siding to match the house. Number 3, shall paint the shutters and siding to match the color scheme of the house. Number 4, shall obtain all necessary building permits from building codes. This house is not listed in spare. This is the subject property. So right here is the new window. This is a closer view right here. So it was larger at one point. And this is original, so this is as best as I could get it from Google Earth. But that was what was there before. We do have the applicants present.
All right. Is there any questions for staff? All right. Ms. Marino, would you come forward, please? Just state your name and your address for the record, and kind of explain to us what you're doing and why.
Hi, my name's Danica Marino, and we live on 2480 Evelyn Street. My husband knows a little bit more why we had to replace the window, so I'm gonna let him explain a little bit more.
Okay. Please state your name too, please, sir.
My name is Adrian Marino, 2480 Evelyn Street, Beaumont, Texas. I am the homeowner of the house. I'm a little nervous, but
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
been a long day at work, but okay. The request for this window to be changed was because there were several instances where I had some guys come through. If y'all look at the older picture, it was there was double windows that came out, right? And so it being an older window, I looked for thrift stores, looked at places to see if I could replace it. Asked my pastor, he's a thrift guy, hey, can you help me fix this? The mechanism didn't close, basically. So I had duct tape and stuff like that. And look, the duct tape only works so much, zip ties only work so much. So I was like, look, I can get somebody out here to fix the window, but we can get it fixed, right? Also, my daughter was going through, she had a triple crown surgery, allergies. So there was draft coming in, there was leaks on the bottom. I did speak with Ms. Pache, letting her know, look, this thing had leak seals and everything. There was a toy box underneath it. Air was just coming in and out. So I kind of panicked because as soon as she finished her surgery, that was a Thursday, she stayed over till Friday and we had to be home. So I was like, look, Dad, I need your help. I need your help. So my daughter's gonna be there. I just need to change this window out. I can do the rest. And then I injured my back, so I couldn't finish it. So it stayed unfinished. That's the latest picture how it looks, right? But I couldn't finish it. So long story short, I'm not seeking to harm anybody or doing any kind of intentions to not do it right. I want to do it right. But this was one of those cases that I was like, look, my daughter just had surgery. I don't want nothing to mess any kind of surgeries up. So I know next time for sure. I do apologize though, but
Well, I mean, your story's not undifferent by a lot of people. A lot of people want to do stuff to their own house, which I don't have any problem with,
Yes.
and encourage it, particularly if you have the skills to do it. But in Old Town, anything you do to the house, to the
Yes.
yard, everything has to come for approval with the city. because there are people that would go in and just do these things cheaply next door to you and make your house
Yes,
be
yes, I
worth less
understand.
money.
Yes.
Plus, it's our job to protect the historical nature of that neighborhood so that generations in the future can come in and say, oh, yeah, okay, during that period of time, this is what these things look like.
Yes, sir.
As well as a lot of people on this board own homes there and take a lot of pride in keeping those old homes looking exactly the way that they did.
Yes.
So, so I appreciate those things.
Yeah,
I
thank you
think
for
it was neatly done, but just remember in the future, it's easier before you get started to come ask permission, but I can see your urgency with your daughter being sick too, so.
Yes. That is her room, by the way. So that was like, hey, look, I don't want the door swinging open. It swung open plenty of times at night, so
Right.
I've gotten up in the morning to go to work, and I'm like, what? So, you know, so it's just a couple of things here and there, but
Sure.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I've got a question. Have you had a chance to look at the 4 conditions that they, for approval? The window screen, the siding,
I did.
and the colors and all that? You've had a chance? And
Yes.
is that acceptable to you, that you can do that?
Oh, definitely. I just got, like I said, I injured my back, so I'm barely getting back onto work. So as soon as I get enough to be able to paint, trim, and make it look the same, by all means, you know.
Good deal.
I have no problem making it look the same.
Good deal. Thank you.
So, yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
I've got one. Your 2x4 on the brick ledge, what is the purpose of that?
The one on the very bottom,
Yes.
don't know. It was just like that before.
Okay.
I kind of know the reason why. To answer the very beginning was so that the siding on the bottom wouldn't ride on the bottom and the water would go in. So I did it just the same how the other way was. So
Okay.
I copied everything the same. So
All right.
if I didn't have the chairs there, you'd see the other one on the very bottom. But unfortunately, those
You
chairs
can-
were in the way.
You can see between the chairs.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. and Ms. Marino. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any discussion? If not, entertain a motion.
I recommend approval of file PZ 2022-480 for approval
With the staff conditions.
with the 4 staff conditions.
I approve. I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. and Ms. Marino. All right, our next file is PZ 2022-484. Staff report, please.
Carter and Company requests permission to paint the brick facade of the residential structure located at 2320 Long Avenue. Work was completed without the benefit of an approved CA. The structure was painted white with black soffits, fascia, and trim. The intent of the project was to update and remodel the home to improve curb appeal. The home originally had multicolored bricks with brown accent colors. Section 28.03.018 of the city ordinances states brick surfaces are not previously painted, may not be painted unless the applicant establishes that the color and texture of replacement brick cannot be matched with that of the existing brick surface, or that the painting is necessary to restore or preserve the brick itself. Because we have not had that explained to us, staff recommends denial of the request. This is the subject property. This is what it did look like before or prior to the paint. And then the applicants are here.
Could you go back to the first picture, please?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions for, I have a question for staff. Was there interior remodeling done at the same time?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. but there was not a building permit. Well, it doesn't require a building permit to
Right.
paint.
For paint, it would
Right.
not.
Okay. Any other questions for staff?
Comment, looks like they need to trim the tree. Looks like it's gonna damage the roof.
All right, if a representative is here, please come forward, state your name and address for our record, and
I'm Brian Jansen. I'm with Carter and Company. These are the homeowners.
Hi, I'm Paige Cleveland,
and your address, please.
I'm George Cleveland.
2320 Long Street.
Thank you. All right,
Ignorant. We just didn't know. So this was a learning experience for us. We weren't aware that we needed permission to change the color of the brick. So,
Right, I didn't know.
which that's our responsibility. We should have known.
what's been done?
It's basically complete.
Okay, but did you put a primer
Oh, a bonding
and,
primer, yes.
and 2 coats of finish?
Yes. And there's no way to remove without destroying that brick.
Have y'all owned the house for a long time, or is it a new purchase, or what?
Yes, ma'am. We've been in the house almost 20 years.
And
We own it.
you didn't receive anything when you purchased the house about the rules for the
I
historic
don't
district?
remember receiving anything, no ma'am.
Okay.
We had no idea. If we knew, we did this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, appreciate it.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
We have problem with the bedroom window in the center and the bay window. We got 2 windows that are cracked, and the bay window has been condensated. It's all messed up, and we wanted to have the windows changed out too. But we wanted to go with just a plain glass.
Instead of the grids.
You won't be allowed to do that,
Okay.
not in the historic district. You'll have to replace it with the same 6/6, or in the case of the other one, it's 12/.
Well, the bay window 9/6.
Can they be lined?
But that's no problem either. We just
They can be of several different materials. You
But
just,
windstorm rated vinyl, you know.
yes, but that you need a building permit for,
Yes, I know that.
and you need to show the staff what you're gonna install before you install it. And same thing in the future. It's not a tough process. If you just come to the city before you do anything to your house in Old Town, the staff, you can describe to the staff, hey, I want to do this, this, and this, and they will be happy to help you.
Well, we know now.
Yeah, they'll be happy to help you with those things. But after you put a masonry primer and 2 coats of paint on a house,
It's done.
you've,
Paint it.
the brick is done for, so. All right, you all have any other questions? All right, any questions? All right, thank you. All right, I'll open it up for discussion.
So you can't change the paint, period, without destroying the brick. Am I
You can't take
understanding
the-
that right?
You can't take the paint off the brick,
can't-
not in the method that, well, you can, but there's gonna be little white specks in the brick all the way around.
Can we see the original picture again, please? Wow. So we can't take the paint off? So it's that color, period?
No.
Is there
In
another
our
method?
paint palette of acceptable paint, are those colors that they used in that palette? I don't remember.
Yes, white body color with black trim is typically acceptable. Now, the reason it's before y'all and I can't approve that over the counter is because it's brick material. That's why it's before you guys.
Well, I mean, you definitely have a part of the ordinance that says that you can't do what was done.
Right.
So.
What do we do if it's already done?
Yeah.
We can deny it or we can approve it.
How can you then, what difference does it make if it's already done?
Well,
You deny it.
how does that affect people that are coming behind them
Exactly.
or that were ahead of them who, same situation? It's only because of the method that they used to put the paint on, is that right? Or,
No, most paints, you're gonna have a problem once you
Okay.
paint brick.
And, this is, last 3 months, this is what, third time we've seen this, or second time? People painting brick?
Yeah, we had one not very long ago,
Yeah.
which we approved.
And-
It was done and there wasn't any way to reverse it.
So we keep coming back to the same thing of people don't know,
Right.
and we keep coming back and saying, how do we get these people to know? It's hard to enforce something when people don't know, and then when they do it, it's hard to make them change it.
Right.
Almost impossible sometimes.
Um,
Could we-
one difference that I see now that may help that facade is that there were some shutters. You can see them on this old picture. You see where the shutters were. I don't know necessarily that you'd want that design of shutters, but maybe putting some shutters on that would help the look of that
so it's
building.
not so stark.
It- You've got a
to the current picture?
you've got a homeowner that hired a professional to do the work, and they didn't check. They didn't check what the ordinance was
Right.
in Old Town. And I think you have an owner that likes their property neat and clean and well done. So I think if it was real shoddy work or that kind of thing, I could have a real problem with it. But it's
It's already too late.
It is.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve file PZ 2022-484 because it's too late to change anything about it. Unless someone else has another idea.
I second that motion.
all right. Discussion?
Can we revise that to maybe suggest or to
Shutters.
require the shutters on that,
There was two.
On the-
Yeah, there's.
right?
I think those are still there, but yeah, to add the shutters on that window in the front, I think would help that facade a bunch, particularly
Staff
if it matched
approved.
that gable,
Right.
that gable color.
That's
your motion.
I
Okay,
suggest
so-
that Carter and Company be aware of this for the next time you get a call to paint a brick.
Okay, so I'm gonna amend the motion to approve with the shutter exception or add-on.
Add on addition of a shutter.
Yeah.
Right. And
Okay.
I will second the amended motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second amended. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Procedurally, if we deny it, what steps can they take?
Since it's already painted and they've established that it's like, the masonry bonding, paint and everything like that, the best thing that they could do is come over and paint it brick by brick to match this. The quality of that, I can't guarantee, but that would be my suggestion, because I believe that Commissioner Labiche is correct. If they tried to take off this paint, that would probably further damage the brick, and it would ruin the quality of the house.
And it's conforming to our color palette, which is very important in those neighborhoods too, so. Any other questions? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, it is approved. Thank you. All right, thank you.
The house looks very nice.
It does look nice.
All right, our next file is PZ 2022-485. Staff report.
Yes, Brandon Smith requests permission to replace the roof of a house located at 2575 Pecos Street. Currently, the roof appears to be brown in color and the materials appear to be made of composition shingles. He wishes to replace the roof with R-paneled galvanized metal. Please see examples in your packets. Section 28.03.018, Section G, subsection M, Part I, or Part 1, states roof materials and colors must complement the style and overall color scheme of the building or structure. Composition shingle, cedar shingle, and metal roofing materials may be permitted. Mr. Smith intends to replace the metal roof to both the main structure and to the rear garage apartment. Staff recommends approval of the request. This house is not listed in spare. This is the subject property. So right here is the main structure, back here is the apartment, or the rear garage apartment. He's wanting to do both of the roofs to be galvanized metal. This is the roof that he intends to place onto these structures. I believe the applicant is here. Yes, he is.
Okay. There's no painting going to be done to this house?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, any other questions for staff?
I just heard from Miss Lucky that he may intend to paint, but he is here to confirm.
The reason I asked the question is because a galvanized roof is going to look like a tin roof on a barn in one of these neighborhoods. And personally, I don't think that we should approve anything but a color on roofs, and it has to coordinate with the rest of the color scheme on there. I brought samples today so staff would see. This is the kind of roof that he's planning on putting in that neighborhood. You know, this is the same finish that's on tin on barns and used in agriculture. So anyhow, we can hear some more from the applicant here in a second. Any other questions for staff? All right, Mr. Smith, if you'd come forward and give us your name and address for our record, please, and kind of tell us what you're doing.
My name is Brandon Smith. Property in question is 2575 Pecos Street.
Is that where you live?
No, sir.
Your address, please.
310 Enfield.
Thank
here
you.
in Beaumont. So yeah, this property is rental property and just trying to do some overall updates. So separate to this, there's a certificate of appropriateness for siding, windows. A lot of these windows are old, leaking, cracked, broken. So I figure if I'm gonna, and the siding as well, that's that old aluminum siding that is similar in the roughly 8 1/4 or whatever, 7.5 inch overlap. That's similar to Hardy. But there's some damage to the rear and a lot of the soffit has fallen out and it just needs some serious repair. So if I figured if I was gonna do the windows, I'm just gonna go ahead and rewrap it in siding. We had talked about changing the look of the siding, but I figured with all the other requests, maybe I just didn't want to be held up. So, and I think I'll just go back with the way that it is exactly. So same profile, windows, siding. Having to level this house periodically, whenever they do that, the way the roof is on the rear of the property and some of the valleys, when they do that, it creates roof leaks. So just trying to preserve the property without having further damage and giving it an overall update to ensure that it's able to, you know, stand the test of
Right.
time and have quality material. So it's kind of my thinking with the metal roof. So, but yes, color change when the siding gets done, would also happen, and I'm aware, cause I've already applied for that and painted this several years ago, which was chosen from y'all's.
Would you have any problem with getting away from galvanized and going to a painted metal roof?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I guess it's more expensive, but I'm just looking for longevity, something that's going to hold up. And, you know, as far as the painted roof, I don't know what the timeline is on that. If it go brown painted, how long that's going to hold up before it starts to look bad.
Well,
and then I get it.
it's the same warranty as a galvanized. It's a
Yeah.
20-year finish warranty.
I got you. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I mean, it is what it is. If it's again, I'm just thinking, as long as it stays looking nice for a long time.
Well, I'm thinking that it's all got to be considered at one time. I think
Sure,
this
I
body
understand.
could say yes to a metal roof, but
Right.
we want to know what color it's going to be. We want to know what the colors of the rest of the house are going to be. I mean, I brought these, and you're welcome to look at them. This is McElroy
Sure.
Metals that is just like everybody else. They buy the same coil material as everybody else, and there's every color in the rainbow basically in here.
I mean, I can tell you right now, if we have to go, if it's approved with color, it would be like a dark brown, as long as that's in the selection process or whatever. With that being said, I mean, if it ends up just exceeding the budget, I haven't even gotten a number together on that.
Okay.
If I decide to go back the other way, just architectural shingle, there wouldn't be a problem there going back, huh? I mean, as far as just the.
You still have to get the
building
colors,
permit or
you still
whatever.
got to get the colors approved.
Okay.
So, I think that probably, and I can't speak for everybody, but I think for me, if you tell me, yeah, we'll put up standing metal roof on it and it'll be brown in color, I'm not concerned about what hue of brown, but that's gonna set what colors are gonna be appropriate to paint the body of the house. So, the other way is that we can approve it with the condition that you gotta get the color approved through staff, along with your paint colors, before you put the metal roof on. Happy to see somebody taking the property and giving it the attention that it needs, and, you know, we need to house people, and people that own property need to make money off their property for rentals, so, I applaud your necessity to do this work on this piece of property, in the historic district. Any other questions?
Are you planning on, did I hear you say you're planning on painting the?
So that's that aluminum siding on there, so, I've already gotten an approval on the window replacement and the siding, so we haven't started that yet. I've done everything through the portal, but I'm not exactly sure. I haven't been able to find out on the portal, and I haven't had a chance to call to see. I've paid for the permits for that, but I haven't been able to find where to print the permit. Is that a possibility on there? Or do you have to come back down there to get the permit itself?
No, I think you
Post?
can.
We can print it for you, or we can show you how to print it, either way.
Okay, so anyhow, I've got all that, fees have been paid, we just haven't started that, but yes, I guess that's, just for clarification, I guess is a separate, or does that go into the original certificate of appropriateness for the request? Do I gotta come back for another one for the paint, or, I mean, I know there's gotta be
If
selected from the
if
approved
it's,
paints.
if you use something that's from our approved palette, you don't have to come back in
Right,
front of
which
us.
it-
The staff can approve
Right,
it.
it would
Still
just
the
be a new
Sherwin-Williams
CA
selection.
over the counter through
Right.
us.
And I will be changing, I haven't selected a color yet, but I know that it's gotta be within those
Sure.
selected colors or whatever, so.
Well, I mean, there can be variations, but if you vary off of, that color palette has already been approved.
Right.
But if you vary from it, it's no problem. You just have to come back and say, here's the way we're going.
I don't think-
I don't wanna hamstring somebody with design, because some people come up with some beautiful colors that work great and that work good in the neighborhood too, so.
Actually, I'm horrible with that, so I just go off of what you already has. Yeah.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Smith? Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right, any other discussion?
Yeah, I didn't know that we approved metal roofs in the Oaks Historic District.
I was denied, just, unless things have changed. When I did my roof on my home, I was gonna put a metal roof on it. I was denied. I ended up putting a metal shingle roof on my house that looks like slate. But when we were gonna do a standing seam, they said, no go.
And I don't know what to tell you about that.
So, so it is allowed.
It's there in section 28.
Okay.
To clarify that, most of the requests for metal roofs come before you guys in, for accessory buildings, and although the ordinance semi-contradicts itself that you could possibly allow it on a home, it does not allow for an accessory building, so that may be where some confusion is coming in.
All right. Any other discussion? If not, I'll ask for a motion.
All right, I make a motion that we approve PZ 2022-485 with the condition that the roof color be approved by staff.
All right, we have a second.
Second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Mr. Smith, you're approved.
Yes, sir. You would come back upstairs to the second floor, and then we could help you with the building permit as well.
All right, we'll move to our next file, PZ 2022-508, staff report.
Property owner Ramira Nunez is requesting a CA for a new home to be constructed at 2627 Hazel Street. The proposed home will be approximately 1,100 square feet in size. The construction methods employed would dictate that the house to be constructed with a slab with wood framing and horizontal smart siding, and windows will be 2 panes in appearance. The house will have a 6-inch overhang and comprised of charcoal architectural shingles. The home will be painted repost gray with the trim, fascia, and soffits to be bright white. It will include a single-car garage with an automatic door. Lastly, the front door will be walnut in color with 4 panels and 1/4 light glass. Planning staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, roof overhang shall be a minimum of 12 inches. Number 2, windows shall be 6/1 in appearance. Number 3, the finished floor elevation shall be 24 inches. This is the subject property. This is the elevation. This is the siding that he intends to install with the repost gray color.
Which one?
So this is the siding, well, he's here. One moment.
Just one moment, please.
Yeah, all we have in here is that it was horizontal smart siding, so he could identify which one.
Sure.
And then the repost gray, it will be painted. And then this is the front door that they've proposed.
But it's gonna be wood
Walnut in color.
or walnut? Okay.
And then we do have the applicants here.
All right, any other questions for staff? All right, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, sir.
Please come forward, state your name and your address for our records, please.
Hi, everyone. My name's Romero Nunez. 916 San Jacinto Street is my address.
Why don't you tell us what you're kinda
Okay,
tell us
so
about the project.
I want to build a house in the historic neighborhood because I grew up here in Beaumont, and it's something that I want to be part of. It's going to be a house for me where I plan to live on for at least the next 10, 20 years.
All right, can you tell us what size of siding are you gonna use?
So it's going to be 8 inch.
8 inch?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so,
It's about like the hardy board
7 3/4 exposure on that.
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any problems with putting a larger overhang or making the windows being 6/1, since
I
that's
do not.
consistent with the neighborhood?
I do not. I had a 24-inch overhang in mine,
Okay,
and the 6-inch you saw on the prints was gonna be the fascia board.
okay.
Yeah. But I have no problem with any of that. I did have one question regarding the finished floor elevation. Is it 24 inches from the street, or where do I get those 24 inches from? I guess where do I start?
Well, you're gonna have to have a windstorm inspection done on the house.
Okay.
And the engineer that you hire has to set the slab elevation above, so many inches above the flood elevation. So that would be a question that you need to ask your engineer, because he's gotta certify it.
Yeah, I got a certificate of elevation for the property already, and they told me that it doesn't meet any of the requirements because it's outside of any flood zones.
Flood zone?
Correct. That's why I don't know where the benchmark would be.
Well, maybe staff can tell us where the 24 came from.
It would begin at the crown of the street.
Okay.
You can double check though with our building official, Boyd Meyer, or our deputy building official, Bo Hansen. They're on the second floor.
Okay. Yeah, I have no problem with any of the other conditions, or any of them really.
Well, it's good to see somebody building a new house in that neighborhood. I think it's a great little place to live in the old town.
I concur.
Any other questions for Mr. Nunez? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right, any discussion? If not, I'll call for a motion.
I make a motion we approve file PZ 2022-508 with the 3 conditions.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the file with the 3 conditions that staff's put in here. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, it's just approved. Good luck with your new house, Mr. Nunez.
Give him a neighbor.
All right. Now we'll move on to the Historic District Code Enforcement Report. Hardest working woman in the city of Beaumont.
Hi, guys. All right, so we will start with 25 new historic violations, 3 historic re-inspections, 4 JV re-inspections, 2 JV tag vehicle removals, 5 new litter violations, 10 litter re-inspections, 2 new weed violations, 8 new general nuisance violations, 8 general nuisance re-inspections, and no weed violations.
Funny, during the winter, you wouldn't have any weed violations, huh? All right, is there any questions for enforcement official?
Good job.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the job you do for us and for the city. All right, we'll move on to other business. Discuss the sheriff's sale process for the historic homes pending demolition.
Yes, so I wanted to bring this discussion to you guys. I know that we've had discussion in the past on what to do with historic homes that, you know, from the street right-of-way look to be in pretty good shape. What we can do for that. So Delancey and I have been doing a lot of research regarding the sheriff's sale, and you know, we're trying to come up with a standard operation procedure, and basically we want to be transparent to you guys and show that we are actively trying to find ways to potentially get these homes onto the sheriff's sale. You know, there just has to be certain thresholds, such as life safety. You know, if there's exposed wire, then that may cause issues for it to be placed onto that. But I will hand it over to Delancey, as she's going to be the expert on this one.
Okay, so the way a red tag usually works, when we go out to red tag a house for demolition, I send out a letter after a red tag that you have 30 days to contact me. you can sign up for a work program, which allows you a certain amount of days to repair the house. We do different inspections throughout there, plus our inspectors, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, building, they do their regular inspections. So frame inspection, rough ends, top outs, all that. We check code wise to make sure that they're making progress, that they're not just, 90 days, you haven't done anything. 90 days, we plan to have it dried in. We want to see progress being made. So at that point, what I think I'm going to do is I always check the tax records when he tags the house. My inspector will tag it. I send out the certified letter. I send it to whoever JCAT has listed, whoever's on the water roll, whoever's paid the last 5 years of taxes. And then if we run across a deed or anything else that I'm researching, then I'll mail it to them. After 30 days, if they have not contacted me to either sign up for a work program, sign a demo consent, whatever the case may be, and they owe back taxes, at that point we'll look into talking to the sheriff's cell, the attorney that they use to get it on the sheriff's cell. But I believe we need to set a threshold of what amount we're going to be looking at, because we may tag a house that's got $40,000 in back taxes, $20,000. Some may be cheaper than that, $10,000. I don't know, depending on, like she's saying, if it's something that's horribly bad, that's gonna fall, that's gonna hurt somebody, that we're gonna have little kids get, because unfortunately kids go in these houses regardless whether mom and dad know they're in there or if they don't care that they're in there. But so we do have those issues. Those types of houses I'd like to just try to move forward with, either getting them repaired or getting them demolished so nobody gets hurt. But if we come across the ones that can be repaired, I think we need to come there on a threshold, like amount wise, on what we want to send to the, and I'm going to leave that more to y'all because y'all know more about historic wise what these houses are worth. I mean, I can go and look at the market value, but market value is not going to tell you what these houses are actually worth. Because my thing is, if I take at $60,000 and if they owe $60,000 in back taxes, do you think it's worth me telling the sheriff to go after it? Do you really think we're going to sell that house at a sheriff's auction for $60,000 in back taxes? And then it's red tagged and they've got to bring it up to code. Is the house going to be worth that?
It's a judgment call for sure.
Yeah.
What's the average cost of demolition?
For us, we actually pay for the demolition, so there's nothing that they have to pay. So the city pays for the demo, and it just depends. Anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 is what we're running per structure now.
Just a little history. I lived between the 5th and 6th on Hazel. I bought my house for $30,000. It was vacant for 10 years. Electrical didn't work. I had a toilet in one bathroom and a shower in the other. So, $30,000, I took a gamble, bought it, restored it, but they were about to tear this house down, and I bought it just before it was to be torn down. I don't think there should be a threshold on what somebody's willing to pay for an old historical home. You look at the square footage, you look at the yard, the lot size, those all come into your calculations of what you think it's gonna cost to renovate it and what it's gonna cost to purchase it. So just doing a flat rate of anything over 40,000 we're not gonna touch, I don't think that's a good idea.
I agree.
And I completely understand what you're saying. The reason I believe there needs to be a threshold is because you've got to remember, we've got neighbors that live next to these houses. We've got transients that come in too. So we also got to look at that too. I mean, and it is a long process. From the time that I red tag a house, most likely that house isn't getting torn down for at least 2 years unless I get a demo consent. The same thing kind of goes with the tax sale. It's not anything that's rushed. So even if I look at the taxes, say 30 days after, by the time it makes it to tax sale, we may start out at, I turned it in and it was 15,000 behind in taxes. We may be, 18, 20,000 behind in taxes by the time it gets there. We're just trying to kind of.
Well, can we work with the city, and once it goes on a sheriff's sale, they don't charge any taxes? Because either it's gonna get torn down or somebody's gonna buy it. So why is the city still putting taxes on a property that they're gonna
We
tear
don't
down?
charge the taxes,
Yes,
so that
I'm
all
just saying, Jefferson County.
right. But that all comes from Jefferson County, and the way that Jefferson County works is when they go on the sheriff's auction, Jefferson County doesn't actually possess them. It's still the previous owner. They sell it at the tax sale. They still have a time frame that the owner or somebody related can come back even up to 2 years after they purchase that house at the tax sale. And yes, they have to pay whoever bought that house, reimburse them, but they can still come back and claim that house. They also, I talked to them at the law firm today. They're not having resales as much, which are the ones that didn't sell. If they don't sell at the tax sale, they go to a resale, but they have to wait 6 months before they can take it back to a resale. And then at that point, 90% of them, depending on the judgment date on them, the taxes are actually forgiven. We're not having that problem. What we are having problem with is we have wholesale investors coming in, and they're buying houses up wholesale and then just turning around and selling to every other person that they can sell them to make a profit. And then unfortunately that person's selling them to somebody else, and nobody's actually really ever fixing the house. So we're also dealing with that at the same time.
Well, I mean, it does give us an opportunity to help save something if we feel like it needs to be saved.
And I'm perfectly fine, like I said, with the ones that aren't a structural hazard to somebody, or that I'm not getting a ton of complaints that we've got, people starting fires in them to stay warm, or unfortunately we get a lot of drug use, so that starts to worry the neighbors. And unfortunately the city, because we don't own them, cannot do a trespassing warrant. Only the owner can, and 9 times out of 10 we can't contact the owner on these houses, so the police all they can really do is just run them off. Or they can take them to jail against our ordinance, but they get out the next day. So they're right back in the house. So the ones that I get complaints on, or if it is an actual hazard, I'd like to move forward on. But the ones that I believe that can be rehabbed, that I will definitely talk to the sheriff's auction about getting us put on there if they're owed back taxes.
All right, well, thank you all for your work on that. It's nice to see some additional positive things.
Yes,
coming
we're trying.
out of this group and the commission, so thank you. All right, we'll move on to our second item, social media assistance with certificate of appropriateness process.
Yes, so we are right now working on creating a website, and I have Miss Lucky, who is heading up that project. And so basically, it's going to be an Oaks Historic know-all page that's going to be featured on the city's website. Hopefully, once it's completed, shouldn't be too long. The lady that's working on it or creating it should be back this week, so we should be getting something finalized by end of January, hopefully beginning of February. But once that's finalized, then we should be able to post on social media. We can, send the link to you guys if you want to spread the word however you'd like. Anyone that comes to the counter will know about it, especially if you're in the historic district. But I did want to just let you know that your requests are being heard, and we are trying everything that's within our power to assist in that.
Well, if we can get that thing going, I think it'd be a great deal for us to have a press conference, and it could be right after this meeting, so all the commissioners are here.
Okay.
Invite the media in and talk about to talk about those problems that we've been having in Old Town and how we want to make sure that everybody that lives in Old Town knows what the requirements are. And it probably is the best outreach that we could possibly do, since the city has already told me that they won't do an individual mailing to people in Old Town, reminding them that we have.
We're still
those
working on
things,
that.
So.
It's not impossible. We're still working on that. I don't want to discard that one, but hopefully we can do both. That would be perfect.
You know, maybe we can invite some of the historic organizations that are in the city to join here with us, including Jefferson County Historical Commission, and just see if we can get them here for our chance to take a shot at newspaper and TV.
Sure.
And I'll be happy to help in any way that I can with that effort.
Yes, sir.
Maybe invite the realtors and other people, builders and whoever's involved in this.
Yep.
Carter and Company.
Sure.
All I know is he breathed a big sigh of relief.
Yes, he did.
Because that was going to be an expensive process to take all that paint off of it.
I've got a question. Is there, when there's a violation like that, is there any way that, and like Carter Company, I'm a contractor. If I do something wrong, I have to pay it. Is there any way that, or is there anything like a fine or anything that we can put on a GC for violating a code?
Right. So we can file so Shay goes out, posts a stop work order. We can file charges. Again, that's going to go through the due process. So it's not like in a month's time charges are going to be heard or filed at court and then heard. It could spread out into a year process. It's possible, but typically it goes to the owner, not the company. Typically.
Being an owner, I would push it onto the contractor.
Well, you know, and there's even no matter what we say, there's appeal process. So there are going to be well-known builders in Beaumont that are going to go talk to their council people and say, hey, I know we were wrong, but look, we're following all the other rules about this thing. So I think we're always better, particularly when we have, like this couple that we had here, that were trying to do the right thing. They hired professionals to do it and those kind of things.
Looks great.
You know, and it did look nice and neat. And not just the house, but the yard, all the way to the sidewalk, everything looked neat, so, you know.
I think the threat puts more fear in people than actual.
If they know about it.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But
look,
if they didn't know
are gonna-
about that,
yeah.
they're not gonna know about the
Yeah,
fine.
no, I'm just
so.
saying, contractors usually talk to each other. You know, I can't believe what they tried to do to me in Old Town.
Well, thank
have a
goodness we
question.
have a body that protects that part of our city, because it can really go by the wayside pretty fast.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as the historical committee or the neighborhood association, how well is it attended? Any of you all attend that meeting? Is it well attended, or the same old people come every month?
It's,
Any new ones come that know? Any new people in the area?
well, we used to have it once a month, and we changed it after COVID to every quarter. I used to be the president of the board. Just hang out there now. But yeah, we have started seeing an increase. Our next meeting is next Monday, 2430 Broadway. We're having our speakers, you know, we have the little lending library that we created. Well, we've got local authors coming and presenting books, and we're going to be doing our grand opening, our grand ceremony for our little lending libraries. So we're hoping we'll have pretty good turnout.
Have you talked about that, this information there too?
Oh, we do.
Since you will have hopefully a
Yeah,
big
we do.
crowd.
We go through a lot of things, but we try to keep it more upbeat and try to get people excited about the neighborhood. We do talk about the regulations, and we do have a welcoming packet that when people move in, we come by and give them a little bag with the regulations, websites, discounts to local businesses in the area, things like that. So when we find somebody that's just moved in, we do try to approach them and, you know, let them know. But if you've been there, like this couple here, 20 years, you know, it's hard to reach out.
Just a note.
All right. Is there any other business? Seeing none, I'll call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
job,
you all.
fearless leader.
So about fearless.
Depending on who's speaking.
Welcome them.